Hello everyone, and welcome to the Raxco Software Podcast. Today is May 31st, 2012. My name is Joe Abasamra, and I'm pleased to be joined today by Bob Nolan, President and CEO of Raxco Software. Bob has been with Raxco for over 25 years, and he has been CEO for over 15 years, and he's been President for a little less than that time. After a 10-month absence, Bob is back as President and CEO. And since our announcement, we've had a lot of great feedback and welcome back wishes to Bob. So Bob, welcome and welcome back.
Thanks, Joe. It's great to be back as President of Raxco, and I'm looking forward to going forward.
I guess you're going to make a career of this Raxco thing, eh?
Well, yeah. After 27, 28 years, whatever it's been, I'm thinking about it.
Sounds good. Well, Bob, we have a lot of long-time users. Some have been around probably almost as long as you in terms of being associated with Raxco, but we also have lots of new users and customers that probably don't know a lot about the history of Raxco. So could you give a brief history for those that don't know, just a little brief history of Raxco and their story?
Sure, be happy to. It's difficult to give a brief history of a company that's been around for over 30 years. But Raxco was founded in 1978. The origins of the company were based on the introduction by Digital Equipment Corporation of the VAX computer in 78 and the VMS operating system. The founder of the company thought there was an opportunity there, and over the ensuing years built up a fairly large repertoire of VAX VMS system management products. In fact, at one point, Raxco was the largest third-party vendor for VMS software. However, by the mid-90s, it was pretty obvious that any sort of exit strategy based on VMS was probably not going to occur, and the company went on an acquisition binge and acquired several other technologies and companies that were going to help it grow. This was followed in 1996 by the split of Raxco into Raxco Software, this company, and a company called Accent Technologies. Accent did very well, and it went public, and in about late 2000, it was acquired by Symantec. And today, even Symantec has a 15% stake in Raxco Software. After 2001, we started a movement towards doing more in the way of Windows products. And today we have, I would say, completed that transition in moving away from our VMS roots and completely redefining the company as a Windows-based products company.
Right, and since the new Raxco was formed, which I've been here for a big part of that, but there's been a lot of first and a lot of accomplishments that Raxco's made. Can you touch on some of those that we've made over the past over 10 years?
Sure, be happy to. We're probably best known for our flagship product, PerfectDisk. PerfectDisk started out running on Windows workstations and servers, and over the years it has grown quite a bit. There's a specialized version of PerfectDisk now for Exchange. There's an enterprise console so that you can deploy and manage it across anywhere from small businesses to the largest enterprises with tens of thousands of machines. We've also implemented features that have really defined what this market looks like. Our smart placement is a patented feature that reduces the amount of file shuffling on a disk and consolidates the free space. Free space fragmentation is really the mother of file fragmentation, so keeping that free space in one big chunk is really one of the keystones of what PerfectDisk does. Being able to remotely access client computers from the console was a Raxco first, and we implemented space management. just a couple of years ago. And with space management, you actually have an opportunity to go out and clean up a disk before you optimize it with PerfectDisk. More recently, there's been a tremendous growth in the area of virtualization. Just like people for years have experienced performance problems with fragmentation on physical machines, this problem gets compounded when you go to a virtual environment, because now you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 instances of Windows running on a single host. So if some of that file system behavior that creates fragmentation isn't mitigated, you can wind up with some serious I/O performance problems on a virtualized platform. We've done some testing with VMware, and we're able to show that PerfectDisk can dramatically reduce the total number of I/O across the virtualization storage stack. We can significantly improve disk latency, which is a key performance issue with virtualization. We can improve sequential I/O, and the net result of all of that is that you get total system throughput improvement as well.
Got it. Bob, so as you come back here, and we're all excited here about a lot of the plans they have in place, and I would say that virtualization is a big part of that. I know you've been going around the country talking at various conferences and virtualization user groups. So can you talk a little bit about that in terms of going forward? And we've always talked about defragmentation being kind of the unsexy thing, but certainly as it translates to a virtual environment, there are aspects that people don't really think about. It's defragmentation, but it really is beyond that in terms of how it affects a virtual environment.
You're right. I go out and speak to Windows user groups, and more recently to some VMware user groups, or what they call VMUGs. And one of the things that I ask is, what is fragmentation? And in the last couple of years of doing this, I would say that I get a correct answer about 1% of the time. There's most definitely a disconnect between what people think fragmentation is and what it really is. As anyone that's come to our website or read any of our white papers understands, there's fragmentation the way the Windows file system sees it, and then there's fragmentation the way a disk controller sees it, whether that disk controller is attached to local storage or even to a SAN. And while the two are different, certainly the file system fragmentation can affect what happens on the SAN. And just to simplify that, let me give an example. If a file is if Windows sees a file as being contiguous, when it communicates that information to a disk controller, it does so in a single SCSI command along with the user data. If that very same file were created in 500 pieces, which is altogether likely, to communicate that file to the disk controller then takes 500 SCSI commands. So each SCSI command, when it hits the disk controller, has to be mapped to the disk. If you get a single SCSI command, it can be mapped in very few physical I/O. If you get 500, you have 500 different things that have to be mapped to the disk. So this is where the physical I/O to the disk increases, and this contributes to those disk latency problems that virtualized users are seeing.
Understood. Certainly, yeah, that's a challenge for organizations moving to virtualization, and I think that's an opportunity, certainly, and that's why I know certainly our development staff is working on that right now. We're coming out with some new capabilities in that area later this summer. Another hot topical area for our users is Windows 8. Can you talk a little bit about that in regards to Raxco and what we're doing there and plans?
Well, PerfectDisk is certainly going to be able to run with Windows 8. As you know, we've got it in development now, at least whatever the current version is that we're working with. It's kind of a moving target because Microsoft does keep changing code as we get iterative versions. But once we've got a release candidate in-house, we will be working with Windows 8. Again, PerfectDisk, in terms of resource consumption, tends to outperform the Windows offering. It does a better job of file free space consolidation, and most importantly, PerfectDisk has a way to centrally manage and report on systems across the enterprise, and all of this is missing in Windows 8. There's also nothing specifically built into Windows 8 for virtual environments, and when you consider that I think it was about 3 years ago, the total number of servers, virtual servers installed worldwide was greater than the number of physical servers. So again, being able to address that virtual environment with Windows 8 or Windows 8 Server will be important.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm sure a lot of our users are certainly anxious about that and excited about Windows 8 and the next version of PerfectDisk and the plans to support that. Bob, one of a key area that has been part of our pride and joy here at Raxco over the years has been our technical support and customer service, something we really pride ourselves in, something you've instilled in every aspect of the company. Everybody in the company has that as a key focus. And recently, since you've come back in the last few weeks, we've consolidated our customer support, technical support and customer service into our headquarters here in Maryland, and beefed up our staff in that area. Do you want to talk a little bit about technical support and our focus and attention to that?
Yeah, one of the things that has always been great here at Raxco is the fact that almost on a weekly basis we get emails or comments on Facebook or through Twitter about what great technical support people got. The fact that they actually got a real person and had a dialogue. They seem amazed or thrilled at that. And then the fact that we actually solved their problem was even better. Sometimes the problem doesn't even have to do with one of our products. But there was some thinking that splitting consumer and business support apart might give us some economies of scale, if you will. And we set up a customer support or a consumer support group that was not located here in Maryland, and it didn't work so well. So it's always difficult to say, well, that was a bad idea, but recognizing that it's a bad idea, we're now consolidating all of the customer support back here in Maryland, where we can have a better handle on it and make sure that people get the level of support that they always expected from Raxco. We're also looking at some new product opportunities. Typically we've been known as a utility or tool provider. We've got PerfectDisk in all of its variations. We've got Perfect Registry and Perfect Updater. We're going to continue to add to that tools environment. We're looking at products in the area of file recovery. We're also going to continue to look for and develop additional products for the enterprise. And we've got some things that we're doing there in the areas of high availability and disaster recovery, along with security. So these will be coming in the next couple of months, and we'll be letting the user base know about it.
Sounds good. Okay, Bob, well, it sounds like, as I said, we're all here at Raxco excited to have you back as president, and we've had a lot of positive feedback from around the world from our users. So everybody's excited here, and I know the plans, as you've given a brief overview here, of there are a lot of plans in place for the business community, the B2B side of things, as well as consumers. So I appreciate you taking the time to lay that out for us a little bit here, and hope you'll come back and talk to us again in more detail on some certain aspects. Thanks, Bob.
Well, I'd be happy to do that, and I have to admit it was somewhat surprising to be getting emails from not only the U.S. but the U.K., Denmark, France, and just to name a few, saying, "Hey, glad you're back." So I'll try to live up to those expectations.
Okay, sounds great, Bob. Thanks.
Thank you.